This is Gadgette. Gadgette, you want to say hi? Hello, everybody. Okay, she didn't want to say hi. So, I have, I think, two purposes for this video. Number one, Gadgette. Yes, I did call your name. Gadgette was the runt. And so we took Gadgette to get her shots today. And Gadgette has been dealing with hypoglycemia, which means that her blood sugar drops dangerously low if she is not fed several times throughout the day. It means that her brain is not getting enough glucose to operate. So she's gotten to the point where she's, been shaking, and she was unaware, wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink, things like that. And so I've had to give her the corn syrup and then feed her, soft canned food from my hand. Make sure it goes down, make sure she eats it. Once she starts eating, once she gets a taste of the food in her stomach, she would then start eating. So it's very dangerous for little puppies. And this girl here is actually, there you go. This girl is actually 13 weeks. And at 13 weeks, she should be way bigger than this. But since she was the only girl in the litter, she was the weakest one of the litter. She had to be bottle fed by the breeder a couple of times, taken to work with the breeder, everything. So she's been through a lot, but she's very lively, very spunky. She's had several baths since she's been here. Like I said, she's 13 weeks, so she's no stranger to baths. She is also no stranger to the tools I use for grooming. This is one of them, being the slicker brush. Went to the vet today to get her shots. She's already had one set when she was 6 weeks, and took her today. She's 13 weeks. I kind of wanted to wait because I know how small she is, and they said she was still too small. So they gave her one last set of her puppy shots and said that was it for that. And then we go back in 1 month to get her rabies because they didn't want her to have an adverse reaction or too much of an adverse reaction. She hasn't been very active since we got her shots, but that's of course normal. They gave her some Benadryl to help with the the reaction if she had any just anything, allergies or whatever to the shots. So right now she's just kind of laying here. She had her shots a couple of hours ago, maybe around 3 o'clock. So she's just kind of sleepy, kind of drowsy, but she's been eating, and she had some ice while we were outside in the heat. So she's been, she's been a little busy, just not as active as her normal self. So she's only at this point, even though she looks this big, when you put her fur down, she's really tiny. And my fingers almost touch under there when I do this. My fingers almost touch around her chest. Oh, you're just being fussy. She's actually only 1 pound, like 1.5 pounds. So she's really small. So it's really important with a dog this size to make sure you feed them. Keep the NutriCal on hand because it's for puppies, and it's really good to help them get their glucose levels back up when you're going to be gone for a long day, or just if you're going to be off schedule a little bit by feeding her. It's also really good to keep honey or corn syrup on hand. I have a huge bottle of corn syrup, and then I have honey packets that I always keep in the car with me just in case I'm out with her and anything happens. So that's that. Just the telltale signs are if she's not eating, if he or she is not eating, no energy, won't get up and follow you around, looking around the room, won't focus on anything, can't control their muscles, can't get up and walk. Those are a couple of the signs I noticed with her, but right now she's just sleepy, so we're going to go ahead. What I found out with her today is, being a puppy, I was thinking, oh, I can, bathe her and brush her every once in a while. When I bathe her, I also blow dry her. I was thinking that was enough. Well, once we took her to get shots today, and I had been, holding her and playing with her, I kind of noticed that she had little knots under her coat. And so I was wondering, is it her skin? What the heck is it? I began to look through her coat, and I noticed that up under, this is the soft part. This part rarely ever tangles, especially with her being a puppy and I'm bathing her and blow drying her. But the undercoat, the coat that's really close under here, this part is the part that had been tangling. And so I was under the impression that she was okay. So what I did today was, I've been having this, and I would go through her coat a little bit, but I wouldn't really get down to the coat that's near her skin. And I realized that she is tangled from bathing and from being handled and from playing with the other dog. So one thing about this is, I started using this. I put this on her coat. It is a waterless shampoo, Show Sheen. Put it in her coat. I spray it in my hands, just like this. Spray some in my hands. She hates for stuff to be sprayed on her, but when I put it in my hands, there she's sniffing. Okay, Mom, you can go ahead. I take it, and all I do is, and the only reason I don't have my hands on is because she is not moving. If she was moving, I would keep my hand on her, at least one at all time. The same way I'm doing, her little back foot just keeps dropping. Once my hand is there, she's not going anywhere. And plus I have this on top just to make sure her feet have something to grab onto. So I put this in her coat to be sure not to pull. Gadgette, where are you going? Where are you trying to go? Put this in her coat to be sure not to pull. And I just massage it in. It's a waterless bath. It is not going to foam up. This particular brand does not foam up. But we bought this from a feed store, and it's really good because it has like a citrus smell to it. It cleans and it deodorizes, and it also detangles. And what you want is it just to be in the coat. You don't have to make a huge mess, because if you do too much rubbing in, you'll tangle it up even further, and then you have more work to do. And like I said, it can be really hard or it can be really easy. You just have to figure out which one you're going to do. So right now I've just split her coat. I've just rubbed it in and rubbed it down some, and I'm just massaging it in because it does dry fairly quickly. Gadgette, what's going on, Mama? Hey, Gadgette. So I've been brushing already, and this is part of what I've already gotten out. That's just the hair from what I've already gotten out of her coat, and that's just the back end and under her belly. To get under her belly, I do not stand her up and stick a brush under there and start scrubbing. To get to her underbelly, I'm going to see if she lets me do it because she's not fond of this yet. Good girl. You've been a good girl. I hold on to her and I gently roll her over. I don't flip her. I don't flop her because she's already trying to get used to it. And something else I do, I know you're probably wondering what this is. It's one of those little bands you wear on your arm. And so I just take it. She loves chewing on it, probably because I wear it every single day when I go to work. And so I bring it home and I give it to her. Once I lay her down like this, I rub her and I let her have this. Normally, she's going crazy for this thing. So when she's going crazy on this, I'm able to access everything under here, which is the toenails, the feet pads, which have to be shaved in order for her to be able to walk on the floors without slipping everywhere. And then I can also brush this undercoat. Since I've already been working on it, the brush is going through with ease. No problems here. When I first started working on it, we were both frustrated. But this is working out really well. So all I do is just continue to brush. And if you run across something, don't keep pulling at it. Just stop. Pull those hairs apart and see if you can find out what it is. If it's something you can brush out gently, brush it out gently. If you see her start to react, like right now, she doesn't want to be on her back and she's a little terrified. Are you terrified to be on your back? No, I don't want to be on your back right now. Are you shaking on your back? Huh? So if it's something that you can feel like you can work out, go ahead and brush that out. But I can see that she's kind of moving around, so I am going to go ahead and let her get up and flip her back over. And then that way she doesn't feel so scared. So what I did was, if you can see, I brushed this part until there were no more. I hope you can see that that's pulling a little bit. So once I got to one of those, I would pull the hair apart, find out where it is, and then I'd hold the hair and brush. She's not reacting. She hears the sound. She turned around to see what I'm doing, but she's still looking at me. Still looking at her mama. And once I do that and get that knot out, that's it. That's all. And then I can brush again. If I find another one, I do the same thing. Pull it up. Brush that hair out. With her being a puppy, her skin is really sensitive. You do not want to continue to drag these little spoke things, even if they're coated with something. You don't want to continue to drag these all over their skin because it can make them really irritated, open up cuts and everything like that. So you don't want to do that. As I run across the little tangles, I hold the hair close to the skin, and I continue to run this brush through. And as you can see, I am not pulling her. She is not moving. I am simply brushing her skin. I'm brushing my finger more than I'm brushing her skin at all. But you can see the hair is coming into the brush. And that's because it's getting all those dead hairs out, because what I didn't know is that Shih Tzu puppies do shed. So you may have to do this a couple of times in order to get that tangle out. It is worth it because once you get it done, you have no more of these that you're brushing through, and you'll simply just be able to brush their hair. But the first part of it is extremely hard. I feel a little one in there, but I don't know if I need to. Yeah, I need to pull that one up. And this is real life. This is not something that I'm making up or just for a video. I really didn't know that I needed to brush her at this age. I have another Shih Tzu, and of course, I know I need to brush him. So I brush him down, take him a bath, I blow dry him, and then I spray his, scent stuff on, and then I brush him again to brush it into his coat. With her, I was thinking, oh, she's small, so I can wait. I don't have to brush her now. I just need to get her used to trimming the hair on her face with the little scissors and combing, like brushing the head and then brushing the outer coat. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. Another good thing about this is that she gets used to the brush, and see, now there's really no pulling. If it is this little part right here, I don't know what. Sometimes you might even have to go in a different direction just to get these things out of here, because it can be just a couple of hairs, but it can be so uncomfortable for them, and they can't talk and tell you. So it's best for you to just go ahead and take that time, especially if you have one of these dogs. They are high maintenance when it comes to grooming. However, you can learn to do it yourself. Really quickly, can I turn you around without you fussing? Really quickly, something else that I did do was I shaved her feet. I cut the little hairs around, and all I did was had her on her back, and I went around her nail line. And so now when she stands, it looks like she's standing on two stumps versus having that hair just growing everywhere. And then it grows under her pads, and when she's walking on the floor, she's slipping and sliding, and she has no traction. I cut the hair around the pads, and I then, where her nails are, I just trim the hair around the nails, and so now it's more groomed and it's back off of the floor. Also trim the hair while she was wet on the face. I just kind of cut around so she could see. And I'm also going to train the hair right here in the front to start being gathered up so that it's out of her eyes. So I'm probably going to start doing that within the next month. Right now it's a little small. It's a little short, but we could probably get something up there. But I'm going to wait for it to grow. I'm not going to cut it anymore. And then once it grows a little more, we'll put something up so it'll start be trained to grow up out of her eyes and up into a little ball or a little top knot right there. But as you can see, there's really no more pulling back.